Wavicle is an award-winning data and analytics company based in Chicago with a national presence. As a provider of award-winning cloud data, analytics, and AI solutions and services, Wavicle combines deep technical expertise and industry knowledge with the proprietary automation tools to support the rapid shift to modern data architectures, real-time insights, and AI. Wavicle Data Solutions is proud to grow through almost 100% referral. With solid delivery reputability, proudly leveraging the ability to meet clients where they are to unlock the power of data. Wavicle Data Solutions.
Hello and welcome to Tag Data Talk. With us today, we have Kelly Moncrief, who leads the AI Center of Excellence. That sounds so fancy. At Southern Company. Welcome to Tag Data Talk.
Thanks so much for having me, Beverly.
Of course. And we're talking about no use case, no use. The GenAI reality check, which is such an interesting topic. So let's start off with a little background. Tell us, why are you so cool?
So cool. So I can typically talk about AI and technology without having people's eyes glaze over. I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool. That's a superpower.
Perhaps a requirement for my job, but also super cool. So hopefully that holds true this evening.
Nice. Yeah, not everybody can do that. That's pretty amazing, actually. And so we're thinking about this whole, no use case, no use, and the reality check of AI and even GenAI. Let's talk about the whole shiny object. What is the general shiny object appeal of GenAI? Why is it so appealing and drawing us to it?
Yeah, that's a good one. So the shiny object of AI, it is definitely not what the majority of us are talking about day to day when we're like, AI, it's another tool in our technology toolkit to automate things. What we think of when we think about AI, it's this intersection of like fantastical and futuristic environments. So like 2 years ago, Optimus got introduced, and then there was a resurgence of this 20-year-old movie, the one with Will Smith. The plot was like, could the robots really turn against humanity, even though they were programmed not to? But could it happen? That movie is over 20 years old now, and now that we have Optimus, all of a sudden it's real, and it was this thing of the future. And then add to it all the social media effect, right? You've got a real picture of the Pope wearing a Balenciaga puffer coat. And you've got Tom Cruise doing magic tricks, none of which are actually true or happen, but they look so life-size because of the technology that we have available to us. So all the madness, you add all that together and you get a really shiny, sparkly tool that's just really cool to talk about.
Yeah. So something new, it's being sensationalized in the media. It's just different. It can give you a competitive advantage of sorts. And so all these things sounds like are accumulating into this big, shiny object that we're all sort of interested in. But there's kind of a trap. Tell us about the trap of us going after these shiny objects that aren't necessarily what we should do.
It's so true, and it's such an easy trap to fall into. So you add the market hype, you add the vendor hype, you add a little bit of something less scientific like fear of missing out. You add all those things together, and it's totally a trap that we can all fall into easily. So the market hype, it was last year, McKinsey had a stat that said over 65% of the Fortune 500s had already announced partnerships or pilots with the hyperscalers. That was at 65% last year. I bet we're in the 80s or 90% now. So when that's all you see, even if it's not in your sector, you feel the competition, like the pressure is real. And then talk to your vendors. I have not seen a product in a long time that wasn't AI powered. Like I wouldn't pass my coffee machine now if it had I'm an AI powered coffee machine. Everything is AI powered.
Right.
And these vendors come in and present this demo that's been carefully crafted and say things like, oh, AI out of the box, it's so easy. And those of us in the space were like, well, hold on, I even know it doesn't work out of the box, but I gotta admit, your demo is so cool and you're saying AI, AI, AI. But the trap is, hold on, we've said AI so many times. Remind me again, what needle, what metric are you moving? And like that totally gets missed. So it's a super easy trap to fall into.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, there's this fear of missing out. there's this labeling. I mean, you didn't say that word specifically, but what I'm hearing is a lot of labeling, like AI powered this and AI powered that. And it's almost like you're being pressured to use AI, even in the instances where it doesn't make sense, maybe?
Sure, yeah, easily.
Yeah, and maybe if you kind of pull the curtain back a little bit, perhaps it's not AI that's actually improving anything, because you were asking about the metric, like where's the needle and what did this improve and how did this help the business? Is that what we're really missing? Like, are we using AI just for AI's sake now, Kelly?
Sometimes. And actually, as folks are refreshing their AI strategies this year, since we're a couple years into having a dedicated AI strategy, a really popular element to add is giving your organization permission to not do AI for AI's sake.
Oh.
It's so popular. It's in every conversation, but it's really important to give yourselves permission to say, hey, this is not a must-have. We don't got to do it for no reason, right?
Mm-hmm. Why do you think companies are doing that? Like, what's the motivation for AI's sake? How does this happen?
It's to help us flip the script.
Tell me more about this.
Yep. It's to help us move from, all right, we're all getting down this path. Let's try out some AI solutions wherever, whenever. It's kind of like starting a race without tying your shoe. And we forgot some of the basics of Technology 101. Have a business pain point that you're solving for, or a metric, a needle that you're moving, and do that first. And then decide, is AI the best tool in my toolkit? Can I do it faster, cheaper, and more effectively than any other tool that I have available to me? If you answer those two questions, like, we 3x our chances of success when we use AI.
Wow. Do you think that it's increasing the value of companies, or somehow the boards are looking at this and saying like, oh, well, they're using AI, they must be doing something right, or it's improving the stock prices? Like, is some of that going on behind the scenes?
So boards are definitely asking about what value are we getting from AI, and that's where a little bit of the noise come from. You hear like Sam Altman saying there's a bubble of AI because people aren't realizing the value. All right, a little bit of that is truth, and a little bit of it is if we can flip the script and use AI where it makes sense, like we used to do with technology, where you find a use case, you ensure it creates value or solves a pain point, and then you use it. Of course, we're going to continue using AI, but we've kind of let the shininess and sparkleness of the toy get us a little bit excited, where we got a little bit out front of the actual usage and making sure that we step into it as the technology matures.
Yeah, I like your analogy too, where you talk about we're starting a race, but we haven't even tied our shoe. What kind of things would be included in the shoe tying? Is that like getting your data ready? Is that getting your culture ready? Like, what is shoe tying in this scenario before you start running with AI?
Oh, totally. Yeah. So make sure you're solving a business pain point and you know what needle you want to move. Make sure you have the right stakeholders at the table. If you're a technology and data partner and you're sitting around and you look up and you don't have a business stakeholder at your table, you're missing a key member of your team. So get your team together. Of course, there's the data element of data preparation. We could probably do a whole other segment on what it takes to actually prioritize the work needed for that. But you know what? Actually, a use case that I saw in person was a vendor that was trying to sell in a product, and I asked them who the user of their solution was. And the answer was, it could be anybody.
Oh, boy. So that's nobody.
And I was like, well, help me. I'm trying to understand your product. Help me understand who your user is. Is it a governance thing? Is it a risk thing? Is it an AICOE thing? Like, who's using it? Oh, where our customers say it's really valuable. Great, can I speak with one of those customers, please? I'd never heard from that vendor again, but it's things like that. We got to walk through what we all know to be true just from Technology 101 and how we vet solutions and make decisions on which technology to use.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me that it's kind of like ready, fire, and you never even thought about aiming. Like, you don't even have the right use case in place, and you don't know how you're going to measure success, but you go ahead with, and these are highly intelligent people at major corporations that sometimes go ahead with whatever AI technology or solution building that they want to go ahead with. So what happens when the reality hits of, gosh, we went through all that, we spent a lot of money, we built a lot of things, and now what?
you have a couple of oh crud moments.
Yes, you do.
And they come in a couple different flavors. So you might have invested in a solution. It's actually working. And you're like, all right, guys, it's a couple more dollars to get it into production and, scale it up. And all of a sudden, nobody wants to give up a couple of dollars because no one agreed at the origin of the solution. What are we solving for and what needle are we moving? Mm-hmm. Or better yet, you actually solve something. It's moving the needle it's supposed to move, but maybe one transaction out of 100 isn't right. Like maybe it's 100 predictions, 100 whatever it is you're processing with AI. And the business is like, oh, it failed that one time. I don't think we should move forward with it.
Oh, boy.
Well, clearly we did not align on expectations to start with because right now you're holding it to a higher standard than you hold a human to. A human's not even 99% accurate. So that piece about aligning to outcomes and goals at the very beginning, it's key.
Yeah. But how do you do it? I mean, why is it so hard? And how do you do it? Like, why do we start creating a solution and we haven't defined the problem? And what do we do to make sure we're going in the right order?
Well, we all want to innovate and we all want to move fast and be able to even brag, if you will, about innovation and moving fast. If we could just pause when we start these efforts and talk about what are we solving and what needle are we moving, and then is this the best tool to do it? We would totally change that script. We would stop falling into the trap. Mm-hmm. And so it's this easy trap because of the momentum and the hype. And imagine you've got a vendor at your doorstep and they made it so easy. Just buy this product and here you're going to have a cool solution. And then you have the cool solution, but then there's not a needle being moved because of it. And you're like, oh, crud. So it's these oh, crud moments. In the moment, we can either pivot and figure out how to press stop on what we're doing and then reset after we've asked ourselves 2 questions. What are we solving for and what's the best solution?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how we got to get out of it. We've got to just figure out what's our plan for doing differently going forward. And we've all got to make a pact to ask those 2 questions before investing in AI going forward.
I see. Okay. So it's about process. And if I'm hearing you right, it's a problem-solving mindset, not necessarily an innovation first, meaning innovation for innovation's sake or innovation just for the heck of it or innovation because I want to look fancy. But it's a problem-solving mindset, and we've got to have a process to make sure that we're covering those problem-solving steps before we start jumping in. That makes sense.
That's right. And in fairness, the innovation mindset, it has a place.
Sure.
It is the small percentage of places, though, where you can innovate for innovate's sake just to see how it goes.
Right.
What we're talking about is like AI at scale. And why at scale are we talking about a potential bubble? And why at scale are there concerns about are we really going to be able to get value from GenAI? Maybe right now we're all on the same learning curve where we keep saying, oh, well, we're finding information faster. So we see individual productivity, which is kind of squishy when you're looking at a balance sheet. Mm-hmm. But when we start talking about processes and throughput and capacity, that's a whole different story. So you still do need to do that innovation. You've got an innovation team. Let them go wild. But for the masses, when we're talking about AI at scale, we've got to flip that script and start really requiring a discussion about what are we solving and why. And is this the right solution?
Well, that was my next question was if we are asking people to kind of pause and really think about what problem are we solving, how are we going to measure success, are we in a way sort of slapping their hand and saying, stop innovating? Are we somewhat deterring the innovation? How do we keep that innovation moving forward? It sounds like you're saying you kind of have to have swim lanes of sorts. Is that what you're implying?
I think keep the innovation, keep the spirit of it. Like, hey guys, everyone got excited about AI, and actually everyone's efforts to explore it is how we now know what the best next step is. So we've created this tunnel of projects where they just flow through it, and nobody has unlimited resources. So convert that tunnel into a funnel and say, let's make sure we just get the most valuable ones out the other side of it. And the only way we can do that, we got to apply some filters. Those filters are, what are we solving? What's the biggest needle we can move? And is this the most efficient, cost-effective way to do it?
Got it. Okay. It sounds like you've been through there because the idea of coming up with a process and a problem-solving mindset and getting the organization on board with that, are there suggestions that you can give us about how to do that? Like, is this a committee thing? Is this something that comes from the top? Is this sort of a bubble up kind of thing? Or do you bring in an outside party? Like, tactically, how do you create a map or a process that creates this more problem-solving focus?
I think there's a couple approaches you can come in at it with. From the top down, you equip your executives and C-suite with your AI strategy that says we don't have to do AI for AI, so that the messaging actually comes top down. Now, I happen to lead a center of excellence, and what we can do is actually implement a checklist during our governance process for intake where we're asking questions about the value of it. And then we can partner with our executives to say, hey, heads up. Just want to call out this one initiative, the cost and the value here. If we do this, we're actually going to be paying $1,000 for an hour of benefit, which most pay ranges are not $1,000 an hour. And so we can actually help provide visibility from that from the central area of the organization.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, you've given us a lot of tips on this whole shiny object idea and how to create a better process and how to create a problem-solving mindset and the particular things to watch out for and like how to dispel the hype, as well as keeping the focus on solving the issues and the challenges and creating value. But what final piece of advice would you want to give someone to create more of that value prop mentality within an organization when it comes to AI?
There's probably a couple ways to say the same thing. You could say anchor in business outcomes always. You could say you don't have to do AI to do AI. You could say
give them permission. Like
give your organization permission too to not do AI for AI. You could say tie your laces before you start the race. Like I think there's a couple ways to say the same thing, but anchor in your business outcomes always.
Excellent. Thank you so much to Kelly Moncrief from Southern Company for talking to us about No Use Case, No Use, the GenAI reality check.
Well, thank you so much for having me.